When you played on that great 17 defense in Jacksonville, it was called Saxonville, had an identity. What do you see as the potential identity of this defense and the personality of this defense?
First thing I noticed is just really the chemistry of the defense, the way we are on and off the field, especially in the back end. We're just always talking, we're always connecting, we're always figuring out each and every one plays. And that's the biggest thing that compares it to 17, just that chemistry we got just as a whole unit.
Next up, Brandon Cristal.
AJ, it's always fun for us to hear the trash talk back and forth with the offense and the defense. How much do you get into that? And is there a certain player on the other side of the ball that gets your juices going a little more, whether that's Courtland, Jerry, or somebody else?
I don't get into it that much. I let Kareem do all the talking. I'm just still focusing on learning his defense, really. But every time I'm lined up against Courtland, Deshaun, Tim, Judy, those guys bring out the best with me. Sometimes I make mistakes and they're able to capitalize on it. So when you have guys like that who are still good and make you better, you appreciate things like that every day.
Next up, Zach Bouye. Go ahead, Zach. We'll skip Zach. Nick Kozmeyer, go ahead, please.
Yeah, AJ, Vic was just talking about, kind of the tough decision of not having live periods in practice in terms of hitting. How different is that from a player perspective when you're thinking about a little less than 2 weeks from now, playing that first game, having not tackled since, late December or January or whatever it was?
It's very different. Individuals, some form of tackling we work on, but you don't get that game field, and without having preseason games this year, it also makes it tough. So you never want to go into week one having the expectation that you're going to miss tackles, but we have to do everything we can to be put in position. So even with the run game, we're doing things of making sure that we're knowing where our help is when we're tackling, running to the ball, still trying to throw it up. But like I said, you really can't simulate the game field.
Next up, Zach Stevens.
AJ, thanks for talking with us. What's it like going up against Courtland Sutton, and what type of player do you think he can be this year?
It's fun going up against him. We have our battles, and he's a bigger receiver. And, when I'm pressed up against him, it's really about just using my feet instead of being physical with him, because that's the type of battle that he wants. And, his catch radius is very high. And one thing I think people don't notice is, especially when you play off and he gets going, he actually gains ground and has a good stride to get downfield faster than what people think. So when you have somebody like that who actually has good speed and attack the ball like a basketball player, it's very tough for DBs to have one-on-one matchups with him.
Next up, Kyle Newman.
Yeah, I know there's several guys fighting for that number 3 cornerback job, but what have you seen that you like out of Devonta Harris and Duke Dawson, those two guys specifically so far?
Devonta, one thing I respect about Devonta, he comes to me on an individual basis and just tries to learn everything, whether it's what have I seen from him, what he sees from me. Before I came in here with y'all, he pulled me aside after practice to get some press work in, and you could really appreciate that from somebody like him who just, no matter they made the team or not, they're always willing to work every day, day in, day out. And Duke, one thing I like about Duke, he's good in the locker room, he's good in the meeting room, he takes the coaching. And he can play outside and inside, and, it's a good battle. And he's learned a lot, and he's been making plays and standing out too.
Next up, Eric Delala.
Yeah, AJ, anything in particular that you notice about Kareem's game that's better than when you guys were in Houston together?
I'm not going to say better because, honestly, I thought Kareem was always a ball player, especially in Houston, and just the physical aspect of it. He was at corner and at nickel in Houston, but you see him flourish at safety. He'll come down and make the big hit. He knows routes, route concepts because he's played at a corner standpoint. So just even today in the end zone, he made a play on the ball against one of our tight ends, and he shows you he can play outside, inside, and with receivers, tight ends, and he brings that to this defense, and he's made an impact last year when I watched it on film, and I'm excited to see what he does this year.
Next up, Arnie.
AJ, you mentioned earlier some of the challenges of, this unique offseason. I'm wondering, as you look back, what's been the most difficult thing about preparing for the 2020 season, given all these strange circumstances?
I think the biggest part, especially for me coming to a new team, just, you learn in the playbook, you see it on film, but just not having those walkthroughs, those extra reps and OTAs, especially with the guys that you're going to be playing with, those have been tough. And, you know, it feels like we're on the clock, and I think the coaches do a great job of emphasizing every day to count down until Monday night. And we have to be at our best no matter what when we line up Monday night. So it's definitely been tough with that, the physical aspect of it. Luckily, we've been in pads every day, most part, so we still get the feel of how it feels with pads, but we're not fully hitting, playing a full-speed game.
Guys, last two, Brandon Cristal and Troy. Brandon, go ahead, please.
AJ, you were a rookie with DeAndre Hopkins. Do you see similarities, differences? I know he's a little bigger than Jerry Jeudy, but can you see Jeudy becoming that kind of player? Are there things similar, and what's maybe different?
It's hard to say similar just because they bring different things. I feel like Jeudy is just, I said it before, he kind of reminds me of Amari Cooper, especially when he was in Oakland. Just when you play off against him, the way he runs his routes, certain stems, he's just quick coming out of his cuts. And usually as a DB, when somebody beats you out of cuts, sometimes it's easier to get back. But with him, when he beats us out of cuts, it's hard to get back in phase. And just talking to him, man, you can see that he really loves the game. When I come in, I see him watching film early in the morning. So, you know, when you see a rookie come in and really be a student of the game and not act like a rookie, that, you know, shows you a lot.
Last one, Troy, go ahead, please.
Yeah, AJ, you know, with Jacksonville, it looks like kind of last one out, turn off the lights. It's been such a weird time last year there. We always ask you the challenge of a new team, but how much have you benefited from a fresh start in your play? You just look so confident out here. How much has the fresh start helped you as you move forward in your career?
It helps to have a fresh start. You know, I can't control what happened in Jacksonville. It was good times. I just felt like I wasn't at my best or put in position to be. And that's one thing that I respected coming here, talking to Coach Vic, talking to Coach Ed Donatello, that like they wanted to know me as a person, not only a player, and what I like to do, and just not lining up and doing what the scheme allows in a certain defense. They let me come and play because they know that I have instinct for the game. And that's just, I'm learning every day. I'm watching, you know, other corners that's been in the scheme and how they played it. And it's just helped me, you know, communicating with those guys and being able to make plays and help the defense out.